In today's video, we're going to be doing defensive box fighting, so let's get right into it. So today I'll be showcasing multiple tips, but before I showcase the tip, I will show an example of me using the tip, then I'll explain how to do it. So that's how this is gonna roll, so I hope you guys enjoy. So now let's break this down. So this is obviously a pre-fire, kind of, but I am phasing the opponent's ramp. So look where I'm positioned when this clip starts. I'm positioned right near the wall and my crosshair is directly on the opponent. So let's break down my positioning even further. So see this piece of wood that stretches down the middle? That is directly down the middle of this floor. Now directly stand halfway between that and the edge of the floor right here. This is where you want to be to perfectly phase any cone or ramp. Now let's go over why this technique is so effective from your opponent's POV. Now your opponent right here is trying to get pest control by either putting a cone in your box or trying to mongrel classic you. Now as most of you guys know, there is a shotgun pullout delay whenever you make an edit, meaning that you cannot shoot your gun as soon as you make the edit. This is very important because when you're using this technique, you already have your shotgun out, meaning you have no shotgun delay and will most likely shoot first. Plus the fact that you are very close to your opponent, meaning you will probably hit a high damaging shot if you hit a headshot. I know this is a very simple technique, but trust me, this is an amazing technique since no one in the world right now is expecting it. So yeah, let's move on to the second technique. That was very fast, so let me just slow it down and play it for you again. So obviously, if you couldn't tell, that was not me, that was threats. I'm not that cracked, but let's break down this technique. So you want to use this move when your opponent is pressuring your wall. In this situation right here, obviously what you want to do is rebox, but obviously you're not going to just edit out and try to rebox, since if your opponent is a good player, they're just going to box you up like that. Instead, what threats does is he puts a ramp, he edits out but stays inside the box. This is very important, since even if you edit out, if you don't step outside the box, it's very hard for your opponent to see if you've actually edited the wall. Then what you want to do is, while staying inside the box, build a wall, then try to make the most open edit you can. So it can be this edit right here, very open, or the top version of that. Any of these will work. Just try to make the most open edits you can, then put a cone below and above your opponent. Now in this situation I am on the ground, but if you're in the air like threats, you will need to put a cone above you. Otherwise, when you edit the wall, depending on the edit you make, the wall might break. So when your opponent is trying to go for your wall like this, chances are you're either very low or your opponent is very aggressive. So when you box them up like this, chances are they're going to panic like hell. Now there is very little your opponent can do. Plus look at this peek you have right here, nice right hand peek. Now you could say your opponent could build a ramp here. In this situation I forgot to build a cone right there, but look at Threat's gameplay, he does build a cone here. So I've actually marked this up slightly. But as you can see, this is a very low risk, since very little of your body is showing when you go for this peek. Way to get high damage. This is an instant game changer. You could be losing 50 damage in the fight. Your opponent might have 50 shield and you have none. But this is an instant way to turn the tables, so I recommend you should practice this in creative until you master it. So the third technique, very simple, but I see not enough people doing this. So let's get right into it. So the first and most important tip is, just in rebox in general, always build a ramp when you rebox. So when you rebox, when you're trying to heal or when you're trying to get damage off, always build a ramp. Firstly, because a ramp is so hard to see through no matter the material. This is really good when you're trying to run away from enemies, when you're trying to heal, Since it's very hard to see through, it is very unexpected when someone that's been running away for the last 30 seconds suddenly flips a ramp on you and shoots you in the head for 100 damage. After you flip the ramp as well, it is very easy to protect yourself just by jumping up. You might say that was very simple. It is, a quite common trick that a lot of people know. But again, this is very important. When you're in a defensive positioning, you're usually got some sort of disadvantage. Either that is less teammates, less health, worse guns, something your opponent has better than you. Meaning that you have to get every advantage you can. So try to remember these techniques when you fight in these defensive situations. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want part 2 or something similar to this, please upvote if you're on Reddit, and please like the video if you're on YouTube. Hope you guys enjoyed.